For this example, we're going to switch over to radians, and we're also going to find a difference. We're going to use a difference of angles instead of a sum. So I'm given that 11 pi over 12 is the same as 3 pi over 4 minus pi over 3. And like our video from the previous lesson, you could verify that that does in fact give you 11 pi over 12 by making the same denominator and then subtracting. I'm just going to trust it though, for sake of making this go a little bit faster. So to find tangent of 11 pi over 12, I'm going to find tangent of 3 pi over 4 minus pi over 3. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the tangent difference and difference of angles formula. So that would be tangent of the first angle minus tangent of the second angle over 1 plus tangent of the first angle times tangent of the second angle. Okay, so now I just need to evaluate tangent of 3 pi over 4 and tangent of pi over 3, and then fill in those values. And once again, when I find one of them, I'm actually going to be able to fill in two values. So tangent of 3 pi over 4. 3 pi over 4 is in quadrant 2. Tangent is negative in quadrant 2. Reference angle for that is pi over 4. And tangent of pi over 4 is 1, so that's negative 1. So I'm going to have negative 1. Then I've got tangent of pi over 3. That is in quadrant 1. Everything's positive in quadrant 1. Tangent of pi over 3 is root 3. So I'll put that both in the top and the bottom. So now on the top, I've got negative 1 minus root 3. In the bottom, when I simplify a little bit, negative 1 times the root 3 would be minus root 3. And then one more time, I do have to rationalize my denominator here. And because it has two terms, again, I have to multiply by the conjugate. So that would be 1 plus root 3 on both the bottom and the top. Now again, that's very frustrating. Okay, so once again, in the denominator, I'm multiplying conjugates together, and we know that when you multiply conjugates together, nice things happen. You end up with the first term squared minus the second term squared. So just 1 minus 3. In the numerator, once again, we do have to multiply these two binomial expressions together. So we're going to have to distribute or FOIL or whatever you want to call it. So first times first, there would be a negative 1. Outside would be negative 1 times root 3, so minus root 3. Inside would be negative root 3 times 1, so negative root 3. And then last would be negative root 3 times root 3, which would be minus 3. Okay, now I'm combining like terms. In my denominator, 1 minus 3 is negative 2. In the numerator, I've got a negative 1 minus 3, so that's minus 4. And a negative root 3 minus root 3 would be at minus 2 root 3. And again, I'm going to make a second column for myself here. So once again, I do need to reduce this fraction. So I'm going to take each term from the numerator and give it to the denominator separately. And then I can simplify each of those smaller fractions there. So negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2. That was terrible. Okay, so that's 2. And then I've got minus, and this would be a negative, so that's going to make it a plus. The 2's would cancel then, so that would just give me root 3. So the exact value for tangent of 11 pi over 12 would be 2 plus root 3. Now you try the next one.